بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله خالق العقول من نور سابق في علمه وقاسم الحظوظ بتقدير حكمته والصلاة والسلام على ذكر الله وحبيبه رسوله إلى خلقه محمد المصطفى وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين الأخيار. فأما بعد, I want to thank the organizing committee for planning and conceiving this very unusual and sorely needed meeting on the notion of rationality and Islam, and for allowing me to be present and for acceding to my request to make a presentation at the conference here. And I want to also say how glad I am to meet all of you and to become friends with you and to learn about your interests and your work, and to caution you that my presentation is a little different from what you've had until now. I have a more historical approach. I'm also trained in Western Islamic studies, and I have awareness of other traditions maybe that people working within the Islamic tradition may not be as ready to make mention of parallel teachings that have a relevance. But I found that they help explain certain features of the early Islamic understanding of aql. And of course it doesn't mean that what people understood in the early centuries doesn't change. In fact, it went through transformation and expansion and unfolding. But to a large extent, in order to understand what the basis of the Quranic notion of reason is, you have to have a bit of a more historical approach. So I'll repeat some of the same hadiths that have been already mentioned here by, for example, by Ayatollah Parsanian or by Professor Awani, but I'll give a different perspective on them, which might help us to understand them in a little bit complementary sense. I'd like to begin by reminding ourselves about our contemporary situation. We're caught as Muslims between a movement of nostalgia, looking back, and the idealized, glorious past that so many Muslims are obsessed with, and one of looking forward, trying to catch up with the West. And we remain haunted by our sense of inferiority and of marginality and disempowerment. That's why some Muslims have succumbed to naive fantasies of revenge. But metaphysic teaching insists it is a matter of looking up, not back or forward. Because real knowledge has to have a transcendent, transforming, ascending movement. Otherwise, it's just dead knowledge. Modern-day Muslims have lost their intellectual independence and have stumbled toward an unthinking imitation of the norms and values and institutions and structures of prevailing, globalizing Euro-American modernity. Professor William Chittick, whom I'm sure you're all familiar with, states regarding the possibility of an Islamic philosophical or metaphysical teaching functioning as a living alternative to modernity, whose reason for being is the transformation of human soul, which was the point. Real knowledge should change you, should make you different as a person. He says, the thought processes of most Muslim thinkers today are not in fact determined by Islamic principles or Islamic understanding. Rather, they are shaped and molded by habits of mind learned unconsciously in grammar and high school, and confirmed and solidified by university and professional training. Such people may pray and fast like Muslims, but they think like doctors, engineers, sociologists, and scientists. So what does it mean to think as a Muslim? When we come to this notion of reason, rationality, intelligence, intellect, intellectuality, all the terms that have been used recently in order to transpose from Arabic